Hey, what is up guys and girls, my name is Griefdrums and today we're looking at PvP in Ghost Recon. So obviously a few days ago we got the announcement that PvP is officially confirmed in Ghost Recon. We got told it's going to be a 4v4 tactical PvP. So it's literally going to be a squad of ghosts up against a squad of ghosts. Now, quite how this is going to be implemented, I don't know. Whether it's going to be in a small map that is set somewhere within one of the regions, it may well be. But I feel like this is a bit of a waste of the potential for PvP for this game. Now, I was never one of those that was lobbying for this to start off with. I can understand why people wanted PvP, but multiplayer for me, I prefer co-op in all honesty, and I think the game personally for me is going to have quite a bit of longevity. I understand there's a limited amount of missions, but it's something that they could constantly work upon by adding new stuff into the game. What I want to do today is I want to break down a potential idea that I've had for how I think PvP should be implemented in this game. Now, obviously, I'm a YouTuber with, 12,000 subs, which, it's nothing to be sniffed at, but no one's going to be listening to me. But nonetheless, if we can get a movement going within this community, it would be amazing for that information to get back to the devs in some way, shape, or form, for them to say, you know what? I think he's onto something here. Now, hopefully people out there will agree with me on this, and hopefully I'm not just going way out on a limb here. But with such a huge map, with so many different regions, where is the concept of having massive multiplayer games? My crazy idea would be to implement a battle royale. Now, this isn't my idea per se. Someone mentioned it in a comment on one of my videos when the gameplay first got leaked, and as soon as I heard it, I was just blown away by it. Battle royale. 50 people, or, like Battlefield 4, 64 people. You put all of those into one multiplayer game mode, set within one region, that's going to make for some fun gameplay. Now, after breaking down all the ins and outs of it and what it would entail, the main concept that I can come up with is pretty similar to H1Z1, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. There are lots of games that are doing this at the minute, and with good reason. You would start off all parachuting into a specific region. The game would be limited to one region, so Itakura, for example. You would all parachute down into that at exactly the same time. From there, you would have no weapons other than your hands and your melee ability. And as soon as you hit the ground, you would have to go scouting for gear and for guns and trying to find as much stuff as you possibly can very quickly. By adding permadeath, obviously, as soon as you die, you're out of the game, you're gone, see you later. That would make the game so much more interesting. You would fear bumping into people. With the sheer quantity of weapons available to you in this game, it'll be amazing to have different ones dotted around the map. You may end up just being able to find a pistol, you might find something like a close-range shotgun, or alternatively, you might find a sniper rifle. But it will make for some interesting gameplay types when you found a pistol and someone else has got a sniper rifle. You're going to have to try and adjust your playstyle accordingly to be able to challenge these kind of people. The same can be done for uniform. With the sheer level of customization available, you could easily chuck it in so, a ghillie suit would be lying around next to something like, I don't know, a bright white vest or something like that. One person will pick up the vest, another will pick up the ghillie suit. If the ghillie suit is gone, you've stuck with that vest, so you're going to stand out a lot more. That'd make for some hilarious encounters. As with other King of the Hill or Battle Royale game modes, in other games, you would obviously have to implement it so that there is a circle, and the circle appears to say where the game zone is. Although you're going to be stuck in the same region as each other, as the numbers start to thin out, it gets harder and harder to bump into these people, and we already know that the map size is pretty big. After 5 or 10 minutes of the game starting, you could put this circle on the map, and everyone has to get into that game zone. If they're not there, the mortars could start killing people on the outside of that zone. And then after that, obviously, every few minutes that passes, the game zone shrinks smaller and smaller, forcing those remaining that are still alive closer together in order to fight each other. This is a game mode that I genuinely think could bring so much entertainment to this game, and it would also add to the longevity completely. The rush you get from these kind of games is just incredible, it really is. It makes you want to win, it makes you want to keep coming back. The potential to have this as squads as well, in like pairs or 3-person squads or 4-people squads, you could literally pit squads against each other. So it would be you know, a single player from the last squad standing. That would create some incredible game modes when you've got a squad with one person with a pistol, another one with a sniper rifle. You know, one could act as a decoy while the other one picks people off. It could make it so entertaining. There would obviously have to be quite a bit of work put into this in order to get it to work properly. As it currently stands, there are certain features in the game that already would work for this. A perfect example of that is the fact that when you kill a bad guy, their gun is dropped on the floor. So the ability to place guns on the floor in this game and move them around, the devs would easily be able to implement that. That's not going to be a big issue. The creation and maintenance of the servers, though, is going to be something that would take a lot of work. As soon as you lose in a game of Battle Royale, you are normally kicked back to the menu screen so you can try and find another server to start over again. With the sheer quantities of players that could potentially be playing this, you would need to make sure that your servers are decent, you know, that they actually work and that they do what you want them to do. You'd also have to be careful to not thin out the player base too much. Hardcore modes would be really nice to see, in which you've got no tactical HUD, you don't get to see all those little daft orange things above people's heads. I'm not a big fan of all those sort of head-up display things and all of the notifications and pointers and stuff like that. I like it when it's more realistic and more difficult. But if you set up one mode in which people can have all of those notifications and another in which they don't, you're automatically splitting the player base down to those that would play each of their respective games. Now, I have no issue against Ubisoft, but a lot of people dislike their track record for the servers that they produce and that they maintain. Rainbow Six and the matchmaking in that is a perfect example. The matchmaking in Battle Royale would be slightly different. It would just be throw everyone in, and if you are a good player, you will probably survive longer. And if you're not, there's going to be a very steep learning curve because it's, you know, it's a very quick, instant death. But if you release this 3 or 4 months down the line when everyone has already been playing the game for a while, everyone's going to be on much of a muchness for play style and play length and how much experience they've got in the game. Anyone that hasn't been playing the game for a long period of time or, you know, played 100 missions and then cleared off and didn't bother with the PvP, anyone that comes back then, it's going to be a steep learning curve for them anyway. So they're not going to be on that much of an uneven playground compared to the people that have only just started playing it. Vehicles are already in game, so that would allow people to move to the circle fairly quickly if they need to. And with all of the core key elements of the game already in place, I don't see it being that much of a challenge to implement. I really don't. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think this is something that would really work in Ghost Recon? Or do you think it's a stupid idea that's way too far out left field? Let me know down in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you don't already, please consider subscribing for all things Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon. Until next time, guys, stay reckless and relentless.